I think I'll just kick off the session and probably we'll have more participants joining us as we go through this session. This session is particularly for the Business Growth Program, discussing the details of how to apply for the program and what it entails. Can I have the next slide, please? I'll give you the background of the program and what it encompasses and what are the different 3 programs we'll be running under the Business Growth Program. And then I'll hand it over to Lynn to discuss the WEST program, followed by Andrew talking about the Fit for Offshore program and application process and the deadline. Next slide, please. As we all know, offshore renewable sector is pretty much mainstream now and has garnered a lot of interest from the UK government in recent couple of months. We have heard our Prime Minister stating that he wishes UK to become the Saudi Arabia of oil and wants the wind to lead the way for the UK economy. We have also seen him stating in the 10-point plan for the green economy recovery, where he stated 250,000 jobs are going to be coming up in the green sector, committing 60,000 jobs coming from the offshore wind and a target of 40 gigawatt to be achieved by 2030, which is quite ambitious from the point where we are now. We nearly have a 10 gigawatt installed and we are looking for a 3 times enhancement in the capabilities and the development in the next decade. The Northeast Business Growth Program is primarily a specialist innovation advice and market intelligence program, covering all the 7 different council areas in the Northeast. It is funded by Northeast LEP and North of Tyne Combined Authority and Offshore Wind Growth Partnership. It is primarily delivered by the Offshore Wind Growth Partnership, and it is one of their first flagship programs in the regional clusters. Next slide, please. This particular program covers 3 different programs. First being the Launch Academy, which primarily provides comprehensive support to the SMEs regarding the technological development, but also assisting companies with business support expertise, like the legals, the accountancy, and all the other resources required for a company to grow and expand. We are expecting most supply chain companies and new technology developers to take advantage of this program. It's a 9-month program delivered with a cohort of 10 companies, and there's an element of a peer-to-peer learning as well. The next program is the Fit for Offshore, which is currently open for applications. It is an improvement and assessment program, and it runs from 12 to 18 months, helping high potential growth companies to become ready to bid for bigger contracts. So it is a readiness program. And again, we are encouraging participants looking to enter or grow their companies who have 1 million worth of turnover to utilize this service. Then the third program is the Wind Expert Support Toolkit, which is a 2 to 5 days dedicated expert time to address the particular needs of the companies. And you'll hear more about these 2 programs, which are currently available to apply for from Andrew and Lynn later on. So next slide, please. The main agenda for running this particular program is to help increase the UK content and support the supply chain to be able to capitalize on the opportunities of the offshore wind market and be able to grow and expand and export at a much larger scale. I'll hand over to Lynn to continue providing the details for the individual programs and so that you can learn the application process. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Ravneet, and thanks for that introduction to the programme. As Ravneet said, my name is Lynn McIntosh and I'm a Programme Manager for the Offshore Wind Growth Partnership. predominantly focusing on business transformation programmes such as WEST, which I will be telling you about today. WEST stands for the Wind Expert Support Toolkit, and really it's about providing businesses with an understanding of how they can get into the offshore wind sector, or how they can accelerate their growth in the offshore wind sector. In today's presentation, I hope to give you a little bit more information on how to apply to the WEST programme, but also critically providing a little bit of background to ensure that if you do choose to make an application to the North East Business Growth WEST programme, that you're eligible to do so, and that you can get the most out of your application. So just to make a start then, in terms of what is WEST, well, WEST is a low intensity intervention activity within the OWGP's business transformation programmes. It's really a foundational element of our business transformation. As Ravneet already covered in the start of the presentation, we're aiming it's around 2 to 5 days of support for the North East Business Growth Programme, WEST programme. Really, it's all about providing needs-focused activity to companies to help them either start their journey into the offshore wind sector and appreciate and understand a little bit more about the sector, or to help companies who are already embedded in the sector to accelerate their growth opportunities. It's centred around providing specialist advice, market intelligence and business planning to support companies in those ways that I've described. We will also be providing companies with the bespoke information packs as an output of the programme, and also recommendations for next steps as to where they can take their organisation and the next steps of their journey into the offshore wind sector, or in the continuation of their journey. The aims of the programme is really about providing structured business improvement activities to companies, and also encouraging and supporting that cross-fertilisation of knowledge from other sectors, and helping companies who are already in the sector to accelerate that growth. This is very, very much in line with the aims and objectives of the Offshore Wind Growth Partnership, which is to increase the capability of UK companies to engage in the offshore wind sector, and also to improve on things like UK content within UK projects for offshore wind, increase export opportunities, increase jobs, increase turnover, and also IP. The other thing that WEST allows us to do as OWGP is to gain a better understanding of the landscape across the UK supply chain, such that we can develop programmes to suit the needs of companies of all different shapes and sizes as we move forward. This tranche of the WEST programme will have a funding pot of £100,000, which has been funded by the Offshore Wind Growth Partnership in this instance, and we're aiming to support around about 26 companies. I've already mentioned, but really we're looking to work with companies of all different shapes and sizes, really looking for SMEs in the case of the North East Business Growth Programme, but from startups right the way through to established companies in offshore wind. So startup companies and organisations who are based in the North East and wish to work in the offshore wind sector, established North East companies or organisations who work in other sectors but would like to transition into the offshore wind sector, and also those companies that are already got a foot in the door with offshore wind but would maybe benefit from more strategic input to enhance their future direction and growth opportunities. Okay, so that's really the target. In terms of the scope, I mentioned that WEST is a needs-focused intervention, and really to sort of unpack that and discuss in a bit more detail is what we mean by needs-focused. In the application form itself, we have identified through consultation with experts in the field and also looking at other programmes that have been run in the past, we've identified a number of different needs such as those that are on the screen just now, which companies can read and reflect upon as to whether that actually chimes with them and their business. So for example, you might already be operating in the oil and gas industry, for example, but would like to understand how your products or services may be offered to the offshore wind sector, or how to certify your product for the sector, or even on understanding how to better your business model in order that it's applicable. So these are all the types of things that we've identified as potential needs. And what we're looking for from companies is, through the application process, to identify their top 5 needs. Now, we recognise that it's quite possible that the need of a particular company might not be covered in our list of 23, and that's okay. We've allowed for that in the application process, for companies to provide us with a little bit more detail as to what their needs are, such that we can try to match them with an appropriate expert delivery partner. So I guess in terms of how things will work with the WEST programme, and to give everyone an indication of how the application process works, companies would be invited to submit an expression of interest application against a range of those needs and identify their top 5. And really what we're looking for companies to do is to be reflective about, what is it that addressing that need would enable them to do. We would then go through the applications themselves, and companies who were successful would then work through the delivery with an expert delivery partner. The activities we expect to be delivered would be delivered over a 4 to 6 week period, with applicant companies ensuring that they have sufficient bandwidth to be able to cover necessary to meet their needs. So we've got some eligibility criteria. We expect that companies who are applying to the North East Business Growth Programme to be registered as a UK company, a small or medium enterprise, and also based in the northeast of England. And at the top of the presentation, Ravneet showed those different areas which are applicable. You can find more information on our website, and I'll direct you to that at the end of my slot here. We also are looking for companies who show a clear intent to diversify their business into offshore wind, or demonstrate the growth of existing capability, and can clearly articulate their desire to work in the offshore wind sector compared to either what they do today or where they envisage to get to. We also would like companies to be relatively reflective on where they are in their journey, and to understand and to be able to articulate their needs and deficiencies perhaps, such that we're able to help in the best possible way, and also be able to provide detailed information to ourselves and our delivery partners to allow us to help you. The application questions themselves cover 4 main areas. The first is really all about understanding the background of your organisation. So, what's your company background and relevance to this opportunity? And really that's about understanding where you are, how much information you know about the offshore wind sector, and how much of a market opportunity there is for you, or how much of that you understand presently. The second part of the application is all about understanding your needs. So for you to be able to provide input into the needs that you would like to have addressed, and the ones that you think are the top priorities for your organisation. We also would like you to articulate how addressing those needs would change your business, and that allows us to understand a little bit more under the skin of those particular needs. The third piece is all about understanding your organisation's culture and approach to improvement. Really, the WEST programme is all about improvement of companies, about growth of companies, and therefore the companies who are most likely to succeed in growth and in entering into new markets are those that are reflective about where they are today. So we are keen to attract companies with a healthy ambition towards business improvement, and continuous improvement as well. And finally, because the programme is funded by the Offshore Wind Growth Partnership through the Offshore Wind Industry Council, we would like to understand companies' ambition against our key performance indicators, and those are increasing jobs in the sector, increasing turnover, increasing exports and increasing IP. And we've got a space at the back end of our application form to allow you to articulate what that looks like just now. And 0 is an okay answer, because we expect every company to be starting somewhere and growing to somewhere else. And then we'll be looking for companies to reflect on where they think they would be in 1 year's time, where they think they would be in 3 years' time, and where they think they would be by 2030, which, as you'll probably know, is the target date for a lot of the things set out in the offshore wind sector deal, the UK offshore wind sector deal, that is. The application form itself, I will direct you to where that is on our website. It's fairly straightforward, and it looks very much like it does on the screen here. The first little bit is just about providing your contact details and things like that. And then within each question, we have sub-questions. And I would really encourage people to have a really good look at those sub-questions and try to provide your answer with those sub-questions in mind. Please do take care with the maximum allowable word count for each question, just to ensure that you're succinctly providing the answer to the questions asked. So in terms of the submission of your application, if you can please ensure that you've registered with the OWGP on our website. You can do so at owgp.org.uk/register interest. Complete the application form and include your company name within the application form. So give it a sensible title. And there's an example just there for a made-up company. If you send that application through to info@owgp.org.uk, that will be received by the team, and then you'll receive an email acknowledgement to confirm that your application has been received. Okay. In terms of timelines, we've opened the applications on the 5th of November, and we will be closing the applications on the 18th of December. Applicants will be notified in January of 2021. Just very briefly to touch on the assessment and delivery. The applications will be reviewed by OWGP assessors, and the assessors will be asked only to score the applications based on the evaluation criteria. And we have actually provided on the website a very comprehensive scope and guidance document, which allows you to understand the weighting of each of the different questions, such that you can focus your efforts and attention on the questions appropriately. Applicants will be notified of the decision via email, and applicants will receive feedback based on their application. There are a number of different responsibilities associated with the programme for successful applicants, and we would expect that successful applicants would provide a project champion or a key point of contact or project manager in order to own the relationship between OWGP, our expert delivery partners, and yourself, to commit a commensurate amount of resource internally in order to deliver against the needs that are identified. You know, it's very much a process, the WEST programme, to bring you along on your journey within the offshore wind sector. To report back to us on fantastic good news stories within your organisation and business milestones and the like, and also to provide us feedback in terms of how your business is performing as a result of the involvement of OWGP. So they were the main things I was going to cover today. Just as a very quick recap, I know I've provided a lot of information. If you complete your expression of interest application, focusing on your company's needs, Then we'll select a range of companies based on the eligibility criteria to participate in the programme for the North East Business Growth Waste programme. We'll pair successful companies with our expert delivery partners, and then needs will be assessed and an intervention plan will be drawn up and pursued as part of the delivery. And then the team will work with the successful companies to overcome those particular needs. And at the end of it all, each company will receive a bespoke, individualised pack, which highlights their needs and is to enable them to grow in the sector. And just as a reminder, the application deadline is Friday, the 18th of December. Okay, I'm now going to hand over to Andrew Stormoth-Darling, who's going to tell you a little bit more about the Fit for Offshore Renewable programme. I'm going to stop sharing and allow Andrew to share.
Okay. Share my screen. Okay. I believe you should be able to see my screen now. So yes, thanks Lynn, and good afternoon all. As mentioned, my name is Andrew Stormoth-Darling. I'm a program manager at the ORE Catapult, where I am running the Fit for Offshore Renewables program, supported by those in our project management and business development teams. My job today is to basically give you some more information about the program itself, so that you can decide whether it's the right thing for you and your business to support you in winning more work in the offshore wind sector. So I'm going to cover a bit about the overall objective of the program and how we're supporting the industry more broadly. Then go into more detail on what does the program really involve, well, how does it work, what's the scope, what's the content of it, and then cover a bit about the impact we've had to date on previous programs in different regions, and then finally on how you can apply for the program and what are the eligibility criteria for us. So fundamentally, the objective of the program more broadly is all about increasing the competitiveness, the capacity and the competence of the UK offshore renewable supply chain, all with a mind to continuing this cost reduction journey we're going on and securing the long-term economic benefit to the UK. We are addressing the barriers to entry for UK supply chain and doing all this with the ambition of trying to contribute significantly to the overall 60% UK content target as outlined in the sector deal. What does it mean for you and your business? Basically, what we're doing is trying to get companies like yours onto industry's radar at a proven high standard that makes you attractive for winning work. Simple as that. So how are we going about this? As mentioned, I think by Ravneet, we are identifying high potential supply chain organizations who have a strategic interest in the offshore renewables sector. So we do this in three ways. We grow the supply chain. So we help to transition companies from other sectors into offshore renewables by developing your sector-specific capability and competence. We increase your competitiveness, if we can, through innovation and continuous improvement. And then we raise awareness of these selected high potential companies directly with industry and other contacts. So Fit for is fundamentally not a straight audit. It is more of a reality-based assessment of your capability against defined criteria. The program then supports your company to improve to meet these defined criteria. This typically takes 12 to 18 months of targeted mentoring and support to build the competence and fundamentally to create an enduring business improvement program that will mean that after the program ends, your company continues on the same trajectory in the future, and you continue to win more work. There are two key parts to the program which run in parallel. These are business excellence and sector specific. So the business excellence module has all been designed in regards to business management best practice. So it's not related to offshore renewables itself. Then the sector specific side, it has been designed in relation to the typical barriers to successful entry and growth within the offshore renewables supply chain. There are four key sort of themes which are included in the program. These are drivers of strategic success, drivers of competitiveness, sector competence, and basic competence. So these are overlain across the two parts of the support package, where under the business excellence module, we have 6 key modules there covering the people, your strategy and leadership, process and operations, design and project delivery, health and safety, and quality. And then under the sector specific side, we have sector knowledge, cost reduction and competitiveness, capacity and capability planning, sector specific HSE, and then technical and commercial risk management. So the process I've tried to outline for you here begins with the expression of interest. So we have an online form which you can fill in. The links are included in this presentation and also are available via the TIGGOR website on the OWGP website. So we begin with EOI. That is fundamentally there to establish basic eligibility for the program. So we look at your company size, your turnover, your kind of sectors of operation that you work in, that kind of thing. Also a bit of narrative around the kind of business you run. Those will be assessed, and then certain companies will be asked to move on to the second phase of assessment, which is firstly a capability questionnaire, which goes into more detail on your performance as a company, products, customers, standards, etc. That particular part is not assessed, but once you've done that, you'll be asked to conduct a self-assessment, which is basically a chance for you to score your own company yourself across each of the 6 key business excellence modules, which needs to be done honestly and accurately, as it will be verified at the next stage when you'll be officially put onto the program. So at that point in time, you have a baseline of where you begin the process and where you begin the journey, and the team will support you to identify the key focus areas for improvement, and they will support you throughout that journey over the 12 months or so as we approach the granting phase, where before companies are granted, there is a verification process again. For those companies that are successfully granted at the end of the program, you're given the Fit for Offshore badge, as it were. You'll be added to a database of other granted companies, and we will use that to engage with industry directly to promote your business. And we will be looking to host, for example, granted events and tie in with the different regional clusters around the UK to further promote your business to the right people. And we will always be looking for new opportunities to promote your business in other ways in the future as well. Importantly, in this process, we conduct it as a cohort. So this is a way where you and other companies in your group can move through the process together, sharing best practice, encouraging each other through each of the different steps as you go, and build a bit of a rapport. And it also gives you a chance to speak with a stronger voice to industry in your local region, which is a very valuable tool indeed for ensuring success for you and all the different businesses in that region. So we have run this program in the past. These are some case study examples from other companies that have seen real value from going through the program. These are from our Scottish region, which we ran, which is just coming to a close at the moment. I've just picked out a few highlights of some of the things that they've said have been of benefit. So we've had statements which include embracing continuous improvement. It's helped them to benchmark processes and procedures to the industry norm. It's helped them to recognize the need for cost efficiencies and innovation, understand market expectations, and it's actually driven communication within the organization as well. Finally, exposure to potential customers has been an important feature of the support. So you can find out more about those different case studies and more on our Fit4 website. I won't dwell on this too long, but this just picks out a couple of other examples of where key support has been given. On the business excellence module, a lot of support has been given around process management and people management. So under process management, looking at, for example, helping to identify KPIs and monitor those, all with an aim to boosting productivity in your business. Under people management, support has included things like improving employee engagement and training activities, which again helps with overall skills development. Under the sector-specific side, the general sector knowledge has been very important to try and grow that. So looking at just a deeper knowledge of the sector's growth, key projects, and different technologies, and fundamentally the supply chain makeup itself, which companies are involved, which level of the supply chain. And then cost reduction and competitiveness has also been a very important part as well. So how do you apply for the program? Regarding the eligibility, fundamentally, companies can range from those with absolutely no offshore renewables experience at all, who are looking to take their first steps in the sector, right through to established suppliers who want to benchmark their position and to drive business excellence further. You do, however, have to be an SME with 10 or more employees and with a turnover of at least £1 million. And you have to have a significant level of operations in the region, as shown earlier in the slide. So as I mentioned, the EOI is now open. And lastly, I'll just cover the timeline ahead of us. So as with the West program, the deadline is the 18th of December for that EOI. Soon after that point, successful companies at that stage will be asked to join the portal and to complete the capability questionnaire. And then in January, certain companies will be asked, well, once the capability questionnaire is completed, companies will be asked to complete the self-assessment, which will then be fully assessed by us at the end of January. At that point, we will be letting companies know whether you've been successful, and we'll be announcing that in early February. The program will then formally launch in the middle of February, and our first cohort industry session will take place in early March. I believe that covers everything. So thank you all very much. We'll stop sharing.
Thank you, Andrew, and thank you, Lynn, for a detailed and comprehensive background to the program and the application process and the application in particular. I guess I think it will be really helpful for the companies to identify which program they're more suitable for and then go through the application. We do welcome any questions you have regarding particular programs to be sent through our TIGGOR@catapult.org.uk. It is already in the presentation which will be supplied to you after the session today. We have one question open from John Graham, and I'm just going to kick off the question and answer session now. And most welcome for any one of you to ask if you have any other questions related to this. program. So John Grehan has asked, our company Belcom Cables is located in Stansted. We have a comprehensive range of own brand Amanda internationally approved marine cables. Based on our location, what program should we consider as being most suitable for us? Thank you, John, for that question. So as Catapult, we are established all around the UK. We are a national organization having our head office and a base in Blyth, but we also have offices in Humber, Aberdeen, Southwest, and Wales as well. So there are other programs which we are running, and the most appropriate, which springs in my mind, is the OWGP, the Offshore Wind Growth Partnership. I'll ask Lynn to kind of give you a bit of a background of what current opportunities are there through that program. But if you want to get in touch in regards to any other technology development or supply chain programs, do ping us. Lynn, can you help us with what all current opportunities are there through the OWGP program, please?
Absolutely, Ravneet. So yeah, as Ravneet said, that this particular webinar is all about the opportunities in the northeast of England currently. So perhaps not so applicable in Stansted. However, there are a lot of fantastic national programs that we're running currently within OWGP. We currently have different types of business transformation programs. So we do have a national West program, but that's actually already fully committed to. So all of the companies have already been selected for that program. That's live now. We have the Sharing and Growth Offshore Wind program, which is open to companies of between 5 million and 100 million pounds turnover, UK-based companies. So if you fit into that category, that might be of interest to you, and I'd be more than happy to facilitate a call with you if you're in that bracket to find out a bit more about the programme. And additionally, at the moment, we have our development grants available, and that is for grants available to companies who are looking to expand or who are looking for CapEx or OpEx funding to support a project in the UK. The available funding is £75,000 to £500,000 per project, and we're looking for a 50% matched commitment from companies. So if any of those things sound interesting to you, do please get in touch. You can get in touch by emailing info@owgp.org.uk, or likewise we can reach out after today's session if you wish.
And also in regards to Fit for and that question posed, I'm just checking the Google Maps for exactly which county Stansted's in, but because we currently have a live Fit for program in what we're calling New Anglia, so Suffolk and Norfolk, if I'm not mistaken, which is not too far away, but not quite the same region. So if you have operations in either of those counties, you could be eligible for a future New Anglia round, which may happen sometime in the next year. If not, we are also working on trying to establish new regions and new programs in different parts of the UK, potentially nationally. So get in touch anyway, and we'll get you on a list, and we can get back in touch when the opportunity arises.
Thanks, Andrew. Thanks, Lynn. That was, I think, useful and hopefully answers your question, John. Moving on to the next question, it is from Dave G. Will the programs recognize companies with existing capabilities, which is directly transferable to the renewable sector? And is there an option for accelerated programs to recognize this? So I think I'll kick off by saying a quick yes. We are encouraging cross-sector innovations and companies who are already established in other sectors and servicing other sectors like automotive, aerospace, definitely have the right kind of skills and products that can be easily transferred to offshore renewables as well. And we are really encouraging companies to take the advantage of these programs and see if they can enter the offshore wind and supply into this sector as well. Is there an option for an accelerated program? If I've understood the question correctly, it states that is there a shorter version of any of these programs I think these three different programs do provide different offerings. So if it is of lowest intervention, the West would be most appropriate because it is 2 to 5 days of support or expertise you can get from the experts and understand the market insights or any of the needs which you are targeting, and get the quick answers to understand if this is a potential sector you want to explore and exploit. Then there is a Launch Academy, which is a more 9-month intervention where if you're from a different sector and really want to understand the ropes of the offshore wind sector, again, that provides a comprehensive technology background as well as the business background, how this sector operates at a broad level nationally and internationally as well. So, and then if you move to the third, from the length and time scale perspective, then there is we have Fit for Offshore, which is available from 12 to 18 months, which is for companies who have a bit of a track record, irrespective of from other sector and this sector, or have a 1 million pounds of turnover and now really looking to accelerate it to say 50 million in next 5 years. So I think from the time frame perspective, all these offerings are different, and it will be good to identify which one suits you the best and your timeline and your internal companies and business growth objectives as well. I think this leads me to ask you a question to both of you, Andrew and Lynn, and I'm hoping this will be a question for all the attendees as well. That firstly, what's the main difference between these two programs other than the time intervention or the time which is provided by these two programs? If I am a company, how can I make up my mind which one is more suitable for me? Can you just give me a bit of a flavor to it? I think that'll be really helpful.
Yeah, I'm happy to take half of the question, Andrew, if that's okay, and maybe you can add the colour in relation to the Fit For programme. Really, West is all about focusing very, very short and bespoke needs. So whereas, and I don't want to steal Andrew's thunder here, but the Fit For programme is more of a framework approach where you're working through a set group of different activities and different frameworks, and to look at where you are and benchmark yourself against others in the sector. Whereas actually West is more individualistic, I would say, and that it's just about you and your organisation. And it's about providing that specialist advice to get you from where you are today to a position of greater knowledge, of greater understanding, such that you can then implement that in any which way you see fit. It could be the case that in order to get you going and to provide you with a bit of insight into the sector, that West might be the most appropriate thing. It will also be applicable to companies who've already got a good start in the sector, but maybe need some specialist advice or specialist guidance from experts. But as you mentioned, Ravni, it is a very short piece. So we're expecting to deliver it over a 4 to 6 week period with sort of somewhere between 2 and 5 days worth of expert consultancy support. And maybe I'll hand over to Andrew to sort of maybe talk a little bit more about that framework piece within Fit For.
Yeah. So Lynn's right. The Fit For programme is broader. It's a longer term, more intensive programme where you as a company have to really commit a certain amount of time and effort to develop things over a long period of time, kind of across the board. So getting you up to a standard in basically every aspect of the business itself, so that when you come to bid for work with these big industry players, that there aren't any weak spots, and that you're up at the standard which they would expect for getting you onto their approved supplier lists. So I think that's right. It's the business excellence side of the program, at least, is a sort of standard framework, as Lynn said, and then the sector specific side will be a bit more tailored to your organization in regards to your current level of knowledge and your current area of the business and even the region in which you work in, and that will I guess we'll tailor things in that regard for that side of the support.
Thank you very much, Lynn and Andrew. I think it gives a clarity regarding to which I think companies might be able to utilize to identify which one is more suitable for them. I think the next question to follow from that would be, can a company apply for both of the programs at the same time, or should they be only applying for one, or is it only eligible for one company?
So do you want me to take that? I'm happy to take it. I think that companies should really focus their efforts on the application that they think is most pertinent to them. So obviously it's going to be a relatively competitive process. There are only limited numbers of places on each of the programs. So I think it's worth making a concerted judgment and an effort to understand which program is the most likely to provide your organisation with what you need just now. Obviously, if you did apply to more than one programme, then that would be something that we would need to take into consideration when we're actually awarding the programmes themselves as well. So my recommendation would be, hedge your bets on something that is right for your organisation and right for you at this present time. And obviously we will need to make a judgment based on the fact that it's a competitive process once we receive all the applications. I hope that answers your question, Ravni.
Yeah, sure. I think thanks. I think that's really, really helpful for people who are making up their mind and want to obviously explore both the opportunities and might be thinking that they want to apply for both. So I think that's
Sure.
a clear steer to what they be utilizing their resources onto. Thanks, Lynn. I'll take the third and the last question from our participants. It's from David Simpson. We are a multinational company, not an SME, focusing on maintenance and repair services that is established across the traditional power industry in the UK. We have some experience supporting the offshore wind industry, but no experience in offshore wind sector. Onshore, sorry, they mentioned onshore. They have some experience in the onshore wind industry and no experience in offshore wind sector. We are keen to get involved. Are there any of these programs right for us? Particularly, this program is targeted towards SMEs. So a short answer would be no, this program is not mostly suitable. But having said that, these all programs are being run nationally as well. I think, if I'm correct, Lynn, we recently closed a national West as well.
Yeah,
and
that's correct.
There is a pipeline of launching a national fit for offshore as well, Andrew, if I'm correct.
Yeah, that's in the planning, yes. But I would add that if this person's business is in a suitable region in the future, that our fit for programs regionally don't require you to be an SME in other situations, only for this TIGGOR.
Yes, absolutely. And again, going back and referring to OWGP programs, they are running for nationally as well. So if any of those programs are suitable, I think our team has already put the details on the chat section regarding the website, and I think you can explore if any of those programs are suitable. These programs are going to be coming live for national opportunities as well. The Launch Academy for this program is regionally run, but there's going to be a national Launch Academy as well, which is going to be running next year in 2021. So there are other opportunities. I think I'll sum it up. And is there anything else, Andrew and Lynn, you would want to add to that question?
No, I think you've covered it fantastically there, Ravni. As I say, OWGP do run national programmes, and that covers not just SMEs, but the whole multitude of different sized organisations. So I think it's worth a conversation, certainly, David, and I think that please do reach out to us. We'd be more than happy to have a conversation about how we can support you and perhaps signpost you to a programme that's right for you. Ultimately, OWGP and ORE Capital are here to serve the needs of UK supply chain companies, and will do so in the best possible way. So if there's something that's out with OWGP or it's out with ORE Capital, we will try to signpost you to the right thing. But do get in touch with us directly, and we can see if we can align you with something that's appropriate.
I must mention and I think plug in the technology demonstration program, which is also running as part of the TIGGOR program. So the broader TIGGOR program has two strands of support offerings. One is the business support program, which is what we are discussing today in this webinar. But then there is another one called technology demonstration program. I don't know if it is suitable for your organization, David, but it's worth looking at that offering. It's a funding, it's a competitive funding available for companies to test different technologies which they've been providing to other sectors and accelerate the TRL levels of the technologies. So I think if it is suitable, do have a look of that particular program as well. And it is available for multinational companies as well. So it's not only restricted to SMEs. So yeah, that is how I'll sum up the answer to that question. Is there any other questions? Any of the other participants would like to question and we can provide an answer to that? I think it's also, I think we'll wrap up the session and all the information is provided and we'll be providing the slides later on as well. So thank you everyone for joining today and we'll look forward to receiving applications from, if not all, many of you. Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks
you.
everyone. Bye now.